Hello, I'm Joel Blackford with Beth Hassett Sabbath Fellowship. Thank you for joining us. We're virtual only, based out of St. Paul, Minnesota. The phone number works if you'd like to contact us. We do the thought behind the thought. John Haller does the best job on the news. I generally talk about the philosophy of eschatology, what you need to know, your reality, our existence. We solve a little piece of Revelation each week. We're working on chapter 13, the image of the beast, and some of the icons and images and the occult symbolism going on right now. We're covering today the world ahead for 2025 and what I think is going to happen. None of this is thus saith the Lord, other than when I quote Wilkerson or Duduman. Okay, so when I say these certain things, I'm just saying that I'm seeing more of it, and I'm tracking the data points and proving that it seems to be occurring. So the symbolism is up like crazy. Okay, and the color red means love. Sometimes the color black symbolizes death. Okay, not always. It could be green, could be like the green of the fourth seal, the fourth horseman. This is Jim Carrey. He has had issues, I would call him demonized for years. And so they're celebrating the icons here, and I'm telling you that he's not interested in that. He has been doing symbolism for years, and he has personal problems as a result. And also, he's gotten too deeply involved in his characters and probably picked up demons that way. So, an icon is an ancient Greek word. Icon, there it is. Resemblance is a religious work of art, mostly commonly a painting in the cultures of the Eastern Orthodox, Oriental Orthodox, and Catholics. I see it mostly in Orthodox, Catholic, and Lutherans. Okay, and Anglican for that matter too. They love their subjects, including Jesus, Mary, saints, and angels. So Revelation 13:15 says it was allowed to put breath into the image, the icon of the beast. Interesting. That's what we seem to be seeing in the world right now. And so this is imagery that is important to us. So we're going to just kind of go through it, okay? It's occultish, but it's being revealed over time. So this is The Economist. We're going to go through a few of these slides. This is the world in 2011, their prediction. And you can just see some interesting pictures, Obama and other people like that, Hillary and Merkel and the North Korean leader and other people. Okay, interesting. Okay, 2012. Whoa, what happened here? Special holiday double issue. The world ahead for 2012 basically says a rough guide to hell. And you can see the Jews versus the Arab barely in there. Now, I was involved in a prophecy. So, thus saith the Lord in 2012 to Chris and to my friend Mark that we were supposed to read 1 Kings 12, according to Mark. And Chris said certain things will occur, and the third seal opened. And so that means the third horseman is riding. Well, according to The Economist, that seems to match with the year that they're predicting. Okay, a rough guide to hell. And let's blow it up and look at it more closely. You can literally see what we saw a few years later here and now, basically 10 years later, as the Hamas came across with gliders into Israel and all the fighting and things like that, and all the planes back. It's a rough guide to hell. And you can see Uncle Sam drinking in the oil because we have been trading oil for blood for years. So basically, this is 2012, The Economist magazine. Predictive profiles, occultic symbolism, iconography, things like that. So we try not to twist the Bible. We try to give you prophecy accurately. We try to give you the news and things like that. And it's going to be getting darker as you see the symbolism in the middle here. Okay, so let's go through 2018. That looks happy and joyous and things like that from The Economist. 2019 seems nice. There's a panda on there. Trump looks friendly. Putin looks friendly. Other things look interesting. What's that? The green circle. You can't see it. I'll blow it up. Don't worry. What's going on in 2019? This is really sick and twisted. What's that? I can barely see it. And what's that down below in the red? Let's blow it up. Oh, that's the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Are they doing predictive programming with this? Yes, I argue so. And then I don't know what that thing is down below. It just doesn't matter. That's the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Blow it up again. There you go. They're all there. You can see, and they're fairly accurate. He's got his scales for the third. Different swords. Yep. And the longer sword. The first one has a bow. technically, this is very accurate, and most of the times they aren't. Now, what am I stating? I'm stating as of 2012, the prophecy that I was a part of, I was kind of the conduit. That's it. Not to pat myself on the back at all. I'm probably the lowest rung in prophecy out there. Okay. But then I said it seems as though in 2019, 2020, right in that range, that we entered into the fourth horseman. And they're basically stating that all four horsemen are riding and are active, okay? And that matches up with what I've sensed because now by 2026, we could see peak death. Now, I'm one of the rare guys. I disagree with Doug Hamp and with John Haller. They think it's a quarter of the earth. And I state, no, there's 8 references to death in the fourth horseman, of Revelation chapter 6. And so this seems to be the case. The Economist is telling us the four horsemen are riding as of 2019 going into 2020, which is what occurred. I can't state it, but what occurred during that time frame. And then 2022 is nothing much. Okay, it's interesting. Just Biden and Xi from China again. There's Xi and Putin and Biden and Zelensky, yuck, and Giorgia Meloni from Italy, and then I'm not sure who the lady is. It doesn't matter. So nothing much going on here. Just really light, fluffy type stuff. Okay. It gets dark here. This is 2024, The Economist, okay? You've got Putin and Zelensky squaring off. You've got time running out. You've got ballot boxes. You've got all sorts of AI things hooked up, the mark of the beast, basically, on the left-hand side. You've got nukes. You've got the economy dropping. You've got blood moon eclipses, you've got solar eclipses, you've got everything going on. And then down below, Putin and Xi again. So it's just interesting who's facing who. It's very cryptic, it's occultic, it's symbolism, it's iconography, and it's ominous. Okay? It's ominous. You can see it all there. Let's move forward. This is more ominous than the year before, than all of these years. Okay? Trump's in the middle. Things seem to be going up, but are they? Okay. Planets, Chi again. Oh, we've got another timepiece, but this one's got a lot of sand. So it seems like there's a lot more time. There's a syringe, there's nukes again, or missiles. It could be any one of those. Zelensky again, Putin. Down below, you've got the Civil War symbol, the hand clasp. We've seen that since 1968 in the Olympics. We've got electric cars. It's okay. It seems to me that I'm seeing the fight between the globalists and the nationalists here. I'm seeing the colors get darker, more foreboding. And so I'm sensing that that's what's going on. This is the world ahead in 2025. And that's their predictions. And so far, I think based on 2012 and 2019 going into 2020, that that's the case. They're very accurate. So the United Nations, or NATO specifically, is stating we want to plan to occupy the Ukraine, okay, so the West, basically, 100,000 NATO troops in Ukraine, and all the leaders are doing this. This is the Times of India, 11/29 of 24. This is recent stuff, people. Okay, this is from, again, the Times of India. And so they want to occupy, and they really want World War III. They're boldly pushing for World War III. That's stupid, but they're doing it. So we have Obama and Biden together. I call them O'Biden, and they are stoking through Iran. They're trying to make war. They're trying to foment war. And they're war hawks. So basically, something's going on here, and this is them pushing it. I argue it's all of the globalists pushing for World War III, and nobody wants that other than a few globalists, and who knows why. So the bottom line is Obama plays dead man's hand in Lebanon and wins. Okay, so barely 3 weeks ago, Barack Obama's legacy was in tatters. His party was soundly defeated in the election after he personally engineered the defenestration of his doddering former VP from the Oval Office. Instead of greeting the sight of Obama emerging from the shadows of relief, Americans reacted with horror. His hand-picked candidate was trounced, while the party he directed lost both houses of Congress. The Iran deal, which he once saw as his ticket to Mount Rushmore, interesting, note that, Mount Rushmore, would be consigned to the dustbin of history by self-proclaimed master dealmaker Donald Trump. Okay, so King number 44 has been failing. Now keep in mind, what's his legacy? You know, he talked about winning the Nobel Peace Prize, but then after that, he proceeded to bomb Libya, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, Somalia, and Yemen, and just totally set up the horrors that we're experiencing today. So, what's his legacy? It's war. It is fomenting more wars, especially through Iran. Donald Trump Jr. sounds alarm. Biden administration is plotting to spark World War III before my father is inaugurated. This is November 18th of 2024 from the Daily Fetched. And so you can see in other sources here, they know something's up, that they're stoking this, that you know what occurred. I basically, last video was about this, the timing of it during the false Sukkot. Which is from the First Kings 12. Okay, so that's when Obama determined to send long-range missiles from the Ukraine into Russia during that time of the false Yom Kippur through the false Sukkot. Donald Jr. claimed Biden administration is trying to cause World War III by helping Ukraine. They are. They obviously are. Trump wants to be a king, but first he has to deal with Russia. So, and the military industrial complex, which seems to be siding with the globalists. So Trump is trying to be a nationalist, and really Trump is, but at his heart, he's he's a man that likes to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so he's trying to settle things down. Is Putin the bad guy? No, I'm telling you, based on what I've seen over the last 15 years, Erdogan from Turkey is the most dangerous man on the planet. And I'll show you a slide in a second, but I wanted you to see that, you know, they're stoking this, that Putin is such a bad person, but he's not. He's trying to battle. He's a Eurasian person. He and his right-hand man, which would be Alexander Dugin, have always pushed Russia first, Russia first. And Trump is in many ways a USA first guy, okay? But Erdogan is an Ottoman first. And so he wants to push against all forces and dominate the world through the Ottoman Empire, which was based out of Turkey, Asia Minor, for the last 1400 years, and then it was defeated in 1917, which was an interesting time for it to fall. So down below in the middle here, Russian forces bomb what they call terrorist positions in the northern Syria city of Idlib. Yes. Will the international community demand and impose these ceasefires? No, probably not. So this is from Haller again. And so this is interesting. This is from Haller, but it's obviously from David Wormser. And so Haller cited it this morning. Prepare for the disintegration of Syria. Yep. And the rise of Imperial Turkey, which is Erdogan. Okay. China, Cairo move toward Erdogan as Iran recedes into newly threatening, fast-changing Mideast reality. This is from December 1st of 2024. This is fresh stuff. In other words, we are ready to see a mass realignment underway to digest the fall of Iran and the rise of an imperial, I'm calling it an Ottoman, and I'm citing Gog from Magog, and number 44, and you know which president that is, Turkey. So Imperial Turkey, according to Wormser. If Syria approaches a final failure and collapse, what pieces might emerge? Putin has proven thus far that he is able to adjust or evolve his strategic vision, but only slowly. He suffers some rigidity. It is possible that Russia will remain so focused on imperial and European ambitions that it falters and falls, along with its Iranian ally in its survival in the region. Yet it's also conceivable that Russia may reach out to cooperate with the U.S. and Israel to save its position. That's interesting, people. The Putin is smart. He's playing many levels of chess right now, okay? And then way down on the bottom, it's time to start noodling these questions, even the outlandish ones. Trump didn't spend much time during the presidential campaign talking about the threat of Turkey. He did, though, often warn that we're closer than ever to World War III. So basically, that's what I'm citing, that it's interesting that Turkey is a member of NATO and home to the Incirlik Air Base, and they're the most dangerous country on the planet because they're biblical. They're Ezekiel 38:39 biblical, okay? Gog, Magog, things like that. And this guy, David Wormser, a brilliant man, is saying, watch for the disintegration of Syria. And what's a big city in Syria? Damascus. That's Isaiah 17:1. okay? The fall of Damascus. And watch for the rise of Imperial Turkey. This is biblical. That's Gog, that's Magog, that's our number 44 president. Very interesting. So, what's going on in the world today? I've been following this now, and it seems to be moving forward. And I can't believe I'm citing Alex Jones, but I am. So Alex Jones has been following the fact that Trump sat around at Mar-a-Lago and seemed to be holding peace conferences with Elon Musk and trying to figure out how do we create peace in the world. And he started negotiating somehow. I don't think it's legal, but he's been negotiating with Putin somehow through back channels that he just has. And they'll never catch him on this, okay? But it's Trump and Musk working on peace deals. Now, I'm arguing that Musk is Mr. Mark of the Beast, okay? And Trump seems to be the seventh from Revelation 17. And so the eighth, the Antichrist, would come from him. And I'm not arguing that Musk is the Antichrist. He'd love to be that. He's not, okay? But when they say peace and safety, which is 1 Thessalonians 5:3, we could have a fake peace engineered by a man that wants to be on Mount Rushmore, just like number 44, by a man that wears the strangest symbols. I mean, if we're talking about occult symbols, Elon is number one at that. And then Putin on the other side, he's not afraid to nuke somebody, okay? We know that, but he also doesn't want to go down in history that way. So I think they'll do the peace deal, but there's more peace to be done. It's not just between Ukraine and Russia. That's not world peace. That's just regional peace. Okay, so the peace plan was announced Thanksgiving evening at about 6:30 before I went on the show with Doug. Oh, Doug wasn't on, Scott was on, and unfortunately the slides weren't moving through, so you couldn't see that well. But basically, just in as of about 6:30, then U.S. President-elect Trump's team proposes halting all U.S. weapons deliveries to Ukraine if it does not enter peace talks with Russia. So they're twisting Zelensky's arm to deal with Putin. Very interesting that they're getting this done. Voltage down below says Trump's team says they'll cut off the weapons supply to Ukraine if it doesn't sit down for peace talks with Russia. It's like talk peace or no more toys for you. Okay, so on the right-hand side, Russian President Putin slams the U.S. government for targeting Donald Trump's family. I agree with him on that. His family was attacked. His children were attacked. Gangsters don't do this in Russia. Thank you, Putin. Just then, Putin says Russia will not allow Ukraine to obtain nuclear weapons. We'll use every weapon at our disposal. We will not let this happen. The U.S. would do the same thing if Mexico said we have nukes pointed at Texas. We would do the same thing. So, what's going on also? The nationalists in the Senate and the House are saying, we want out of the United Nations, and we want them out of New York City. So this is from 2023, but it's starting to get more traction now. Rep. Roy and Rep. Rogers and Senator Lee lead fight to defund the United Nations. December 7th of 2023, press release. Yes, this is on his website, that they really want to kick this out, get the United Nations, which is the evil of the world, out of the United States and get the curses out. It won't work. Biblically, it's not going to happen, but it's a wonderful concept. And there's the bill on the right-hand side from 2023. So Greg Reese published this on November 28th of 2024. And so it's just interesting to see this nationalism stoke the fires while the globalists are pushing back and the fight back and forth. And it's just interesting. So these are predictions from me. They're Joelisms. They're not thus saith the Lord, okay? But I did say Trump would win in 2024 based off Revelation 17. I was right. And I said because there are no queens on, so there are three different things that are cited in Revelation 17. Heads and kings and horns. Well, horns are also listed. No, there's 10 horns. I'm sorry, heads and mountains, 7 mountains. Okay, so those three. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry, on P. 7 kings, 7 heads, 7 mountains. No queens. That's why I said it could have been Biden in 2020, obviously. So I wouldn't have made any prophecy there. But they're predictions, people. They're not prophecies. Joel, it's a Joelism. Okay. I'm citing Duduman, who is a thus saith the Lord, that if you want to read Jeremiah 50 and 51, you'll learn more about the America, okay? Because we're in there. and Revelation 17 and 18 also from Duduman. So that is a thus saith the Lord, but not a thus saith the Lord to Joel. Okay, I'm just quoting from him. And then the third horseman rides the summer of 2012. Yeah, that's a thus saith the Lord, but not me. I heard it from two men, basically. Chris prophesied after Sukkot of 2012, but before the end of October, and the sign would be snow and a broom. And everything occurred exactly as prophesied, and it fit 1 Kings 12, as Mark cited later on. It's about 6 months later. The Civil War, that's Wilkerson, starts, I think, Heshvan 10. Well, guess what? Russia and Ukraine kicked it up another notch after Heshvan 10, and the okay was given by Biden on about Heshvan 10. So, Paris Olympics, they had 18 Marie Antoinette's heads singing and about being headed on Heshvan 10, 1793. I just said they're telegraphing this to us. It's not thus saith the Lord. It just seemed logical to me. On Heshvan 10, then 2024, Biden ordered the long-range missiles from the Ukraine to push for World War III. I'm calling Trump speed bump Trump. That's a Joelism again. Means the globalists will run over the nationalists at some point in time and demand the mark of the beast afterward. Also, you'll see some UFOs coming up now. That'll be at the end of the video. Then you'll also see this fake peace deal by Thanksgiving. Well, they're working on it. It's logical. Trump and Elon are working on it. They're deal makers. They've been working with Putin for weeks. Number 7, Elon, Jared, MBS, Trump will forge a peace deal between Israel and Arabs by Tishri 23 of 2025. Since the 2020 Abraham Accords, it's logical. The mark of the beast comes afterward again. So I see the sequence as wars and rumors of wars, then peace and safety, then some kind of logistics, and then go World War III after that. There might be some other data points in there, but that's what I'm seeing, okay? And so that's Matthew 24:6, which is wars and rumors of wars. But it's see that you're not troubled, for these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Then I'm citing 1 Thessalonians 5:3, for when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So the sequence again is rumors of wars or things like that, fake peace, some type of peace, then strained safety and preparing for the inevitable Gog in World War III. It'll happen. Seems to be in that order. Okay, so this is from Tony Badrin. Israel does not need a deal in Lebanon. Not only is a deal unnecessary, but also it would be a net negative. There should be no intermediaries or constraints on Israeli operations in the territory in the north. Interesting. Since a couple of people have asked me, RE, the latest events in northwest Syria and my view upon them, I refer all my friends to Menachem Begin's unimprovable response when asked RE Israel's position on the Iran-Iraq war from many years ago. Namely, we wish great success to both sides. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Jonathan Spire. On the right-hand side, very interesting. This is from Elika, I think it is, Laban, right on the bottom here. At this time, the situation is developing, and it's best to keep an eye on the moving parts. Overall, the opposition to Assad's regime is good. The empowering of Islamist groups is not. So it's just interesting to see peace and safety. This is going to be more difficult around Israel. I think we can finish the Russia, Ukraine peace initiative sooner. This will take more effort. So when will we see the Daniel 9:27 Abraham Accords kick off? Sometime in 2025. They'll start working on them more openly at that point in time. So this is from 2022, and it seems to be just waiting for Trump to get back into office. And I think God engineered Trump to get back into office to get this done. So what do we see right now? Even Tehran Times notes Europe is planning Abraham Accords too. They want this too. So once we finish with Russia and Ukraine, we move on to the Abraham Accords Part 2, and Kushner is going to be working on this. He's going to be a behind-the-scenes type of a guy. His dad is going to, it was just announced a few minutes ago, his father is going to be the, the embassy. He will run the embassy in France. That's it. Okay, and so Jared is close friends with MBS and his wife too. And so Jared Kushner tipped to help Trump as unofficial Middle East advisor. This is from Haller's a week ago, or 2 weeks ago. Very interesting that this is occurring right now, and they will have the opportunities to put together peace at that point in time. Now we're going to go through the prophecies. This is going to take some time, and it's already a long video. The Vision from 1973 from David Wilkerson. I see total economic confusion striking Europe, but specifically in the video, it's Germany first, then affecting Japan, then the United States, Canada, and all other nations shortly after. How does this all work out? With Boldea and Dumitru Duduman, those are the two of them. Boldea is the kid, okay? And so Boldea is alive, Duduman is dead, Wilkerson is dead, but I have to harmonize these things. So basically, this is a message from Boldea on 2:13 of 24. And time is short, but we must be ready for what the Bible warns is coming upon the world. Pie in the sky fantasies and cotton candy dreams won't cut it. The truth of it is the battle is coming, whether you as an individual are ready for it or not. Okay, so he's correct. The battle is coming. So now this is from Don talking about Wilkerson and Duduman in 2025. So Don, yes, I agree, but I think it will only happen after the financial holocaust and the Civil War. Russia may strike Ukraine with a couple of nukes, and probably China will not blame them for given how much the West has pushed the war with Russia. Russia perhaps will say this is a warning. The next one will wipe out your cities in Europe and the USA. So I'm adding. So Wilkerson's prophecies of Germany falling first, then Japan, then the U.S., and others occur before Russia attacks. Somewhere in the mix will be Duduman's civil unrest in the center of America and other pieces I don't know. And the answer is yes. That's the way I see it. And Don knows he's the archivist for Wilkerson and Duduman and other prophecies. So that's the way he sees it too. The economic crash striking Europe and Japan and the USA and Canada. This I interpret as also means the financial holocaust for which he wrote an entire book. That's when I believe the Civil War, revolution as it was called when it happened in Romania, will happen, and then the massive Russian strike. Okay, so we'll kind of know to watch for the Civil War, then the massive Russian strike after that. Wilkerson said it will happen when we are weak and helpless. Just like predators in the animal kingdom, I think of the Bible likening kings and nations to beasts. So I said paper tiger. Don said yes. So interesting. Okay, continuing on with Don's conversation. Dumitru called it a revolution, and Wilkerson called it a civil war. He qualified that by saying it won't be like the Civil War in the mid-1800s. And Don's not from America. America has already had one civil war, and President Lincoln called it the judgment of God. That war was North against South, but now we are facing another civil war, and it won't take place in some tranquil setting like Gettysburg. It's going to be in our midst in major cities like New York, Miami, Chicago, LA, Boston, Houston, Dallas, Detroit, St. Louis, San Francisco, and Denver. And the bloodshed is going to be beyond all imaginings. Yet, even with all this turmoil coming upon us, I want to reassure you of one thing. No matter what happens to America or the nations of the world, no power in hell can rob you of the peace of God through Yeshua HaMashiach, which he implants in your soul. God will have his own people governed by peace. The red horse and its rider can never rob you of the peace he puts in your heart. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to the which also ye are called in one body, and be ye thankful. Colossians 3:15. Why did the Lord command the early church to let his peace rule their lives? It was because he knew that this was coming, that he was coming. He knew what was coming, and he also wanted to prepare them. In just a few years' time, incredible turmoil will come upon them suddenly. They would be tortured and persecuted during the first and second centuries. They would face hard times, loss of homes, confiscation of all worldly goods, attacks from vicious men who thought they were doing God a favor by killing them. God was warning them, preparing them. You are going to have to be grounded in my peace, because it alone will see you through all the incredible changes ahead. The God of peace shall be with you. Philippians 4:9. Yeah, that's my friend Don. Good points. From Wilkerson. Prophesied a few years ago that the coming days, more than 1,000 fires would set New York ablaze. Today, every time I look out my apartment window onto the city, I see those fires in my mind's eye. I smell the smoke. I hear the galloping of the red horse. Most Christians don't like to hear any of this. We don't want any more gloom and doom. It's too upsetting, too frightening. We'd rather sit back on the front of our TVs with nothing to disturb us in front of our TVs. But this violence is exactly what the Bible tells us to prepare for. Our entire outlook on life is about to change. The way we pray, the way we think, everything is going to be different. Drastic changes always follow in nations where all peace has been taken. That phrase is Lakak Shalom. That is the second seal. That's that red horse. And that is David Wilkerson's comment on this. Continuing on with Duduman, harmonizing again as we need to. He said, remember this, Dumitru. The Russian spies have discovered where the nuclear warehouses are in America. When the Americans will think that it is peace and safety from the middle of the country, some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the ocean, from Cuba, Nicaragua, Mexico, he told me 2 other countries, but I didn't remember them. They will bomb the nuclear warehouses. They will explode and America will burn. What will you do with the church of the Lord? How will you save the ones that will turn toward you? I asked. He said, tell them this, how I have saved 3 young ones from the furnace of fire, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and how I saved Daniel from the lion's den. In the same way, I will save them. The angel of the Lord also told me, I have blessed this country because of the Jewish people who are in this country. I have 7 million Jews at that point in time, but they do not want to recognize the Lord. They don't want to thank God for the blessing they have received in this country. Israel doesn't want to recognize Jesus Christ. They put their faith in the Jewish people in America, but when America burns, the Lord will raise China, Japan, and other nations to go against the Russians. They will beat the Russians and push them all the way back to the gates of Paris. That's from Dumitru Duduman, but it was clipped from Don for me. Okay, so what's going to happen then? These are Joelisms again. This is my speculations, but it's a timeline. Capitalism will run amok in 2025. A frenzy from investors. I'm already watching my cryptos go nuts. And Christian nationalists preaching Jesus plus prosperity. It'll be a paper tiger. Trump pumps financial speculation amidst peace plan for Russia, Ukraine, and then Israel and her enemies. Big tech will build the beast system. Israel will be divided in fake peacetime. Then are we preaching the gospel at that point in time? No, not yet. Globalists escalate World War III with Russia while planning to take down Trump by eviscerating markets. Rumors of revelations phase. Okay, Germany will fall first, then Japan, then America will teeter. Civil unrest will be global. Is that the time for the gospel? I still don't see it there. It's close. God divides America for dividing Israel. Trump will fall with American financial holocaust as it becomes weak and helpless. Then the gospel starts being preached. Midpoint of the tribulation, the Pope hands the world to the beast, while beast tech hands the beast tech system to the beast. So those things occur. Pope will hand things off to the beast, and beast tech will hand things off to the beast. That's just how it works, and he'll gather it up in about an hour, okay? And Russia and BRICS will attack America with nukes. Great tribulation, and the gospel is definitely preached during that time. So that's harmonizing some Wilkerson and some Duduman together into what you're seeing in the world today. Okay, now we'll get into the weird as we close it out. So UAP or UFO, object sighting at Manchester Airport sparks speculation. This is from November 28th of 2024, and it's Times Now World. And so this round blue object comes out of the sky and sits there on the tarmac around the plane. Very odd. Looks like a bluish globe. Very odd. Very, very odd. This is, I'm blanking on the announcer guy, but it doesn't matter. This is from the New York Post via Fox News. Mysterious lights over Capitol Hill causes UFO panic in D.C. It's already happening. Jesse, that's Jesse Waters there, okay? And the aliens and things like that. You're going to see more of this going forward. 2025 is going to be much busier. They're actually predicting December 3rd of 2024 as the day of the predictions of Cliff High and his web bot. That you'll see more UFOs coming up on that day. So according to Keemstar, the Weebot that was developed by Cliff High, it would collect data to predict stocks. In 2009, he predicted Trump featuring on a Joe Rogan podcast, adding that there will be a UFO war 39 days after his appearance, which is December 3rd of 2024. We'll see. I follow Armstrong, and he has his little data system for predicting stocks, Martin Armstrong, and then there's also my Dutch guy. Oh goodness, I can see his face right now. But anyway, these guys have their little programs to pick stocks, and they're very good at it. In this case, Cliff High did it, and he predicted the UFO war on December 3rd of 2024. Interesting. So once again, that's an interesting article from. Oh, and I didn't grab where it was from, but it doesn't matter. This is from Kushi Patel. It's probably Times of India. So bottom line is that seems to be an odd prediction. I'm telling you that the mark of the beast is also working, and this is proof of it. This is from Andreessen. Okay, so Biden's administration laid it all out. Only 2 to 3 AI companies would be allowed to exist. Complete control over development. They've uncovered a new way to destroy companies. 30 tech founders were secretly debanked. So what I'm arguing down in the bottom here is that Andreessen told Rogan about the federal government's rogue Operation Choke Point. He described it as a move by the Department of Justice that initially targeted marijuana businesses and gun manufacturers. He said under Biden, it was then weaponized to destroy political opponents, tech founders, and the crypto community. Yeah, that's why the cryptos are coming back. They've been debanked. But debanking is the mark of the beast in part. So you need a mark of the beast, but then you need the system that keeps people from buying and selling. Well, that's debanking. Okay? You'll also see more symbolism like the occult icons and things like the Eye of Horus. These are icons, they're deceptions. You'll see the globalists use these icons. You'll see the nationalists are try not to we try not to notice them and try not to give obeisance to them, but the problem is it's overwhelming now. You see these signs everywhere, and Elon is one of those guys. This is Stan Johnson from the Prophecy Club, and he's talking about the firecracker dream that appears more likely to fulfill in 2025. Okay, that's Christian witchcraft from the Dana Coverstone guy. It's just witchcraft, people. Dana Coverstone has never been accurate at all. Now, what's accurate is something will happen in 2025, and it'll be busier. So watch. In 2025, watch the Passover and the counting of the Omer. Shavuot could be a huge time frame next year. Just watch it, okay? But before that, watch March 13th and 14th of 2025 for the blood moon eclipse. And then watch September, I think it's 6th and 7th or 7th and 8th for the second blood moon eclipse of that year. The sequence starts up again of the blood moon eclipses, which means that we could have the 6th seal start next year. And then watch Yom Kippur in 2025. That would be October 1st. So just June 1st is Shavuot. October 1st seems to be Yom Kippur. It could vary based on the sighted moon, but it'll be interesting to watch. So that was Stan. Stan, unfortunately, cites so many false prophets, and Dana Coverstone is one of those. And Stan's go-to people are always Christian witches, which is sad. Sad commentary for Stan. So we're in the birth pangs. We're probably in the fourth seal, based on the Fourth Horseman writing, as I showed you from the Economist magazine. Very interesting article. Tribulation would start after this. We would then enter the Great Tribulation. The symbols and the icons are getting stronger, people. Be aware of it. You'll need to pray, because what's coming up now is a wedding on Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur. You'll need to wear clean garments. You can't be naked. It's a wedding. Be blessed. Thank you very much for your time. This was a long video. They're going to be longer in the future. It's just the way things work, people. There's just more information now. So be blessed. Thank you for your time. Bye.